Alright, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to another video here on the channel, and today, man, we're taking a look at one of the genuinely dumbest things I think I've ever seen. And it's honestly sad because, this is a topic that is surrounding such a very sensitive, very heavy subject, right? I mean, just even going into this realm of discussion, it's gonna be upsetting for some people. It's something most people, I feel like, don't want to talk about frequently, obvious reasons why that is. But then, you see news stories like this, where it truthfully to me feels like these kinds of situations do nothing but make mockeries of real situations. But for whatever reason, this is being treated as if it's like something legitimate. And, it's being treated as if this is like a genuine, violent crime or something. And it just is a waste of police resources. There's nothing about it that's actually founded in any sort of logic or rationale or reasoning. There's no reason for this to be a case, anything really, right? Like, it just is something that truthfully, yeah, I guess it sucks that it happened or whatever, but it's one of those things where it's a situation where they're making a mountain out of a molehill. So, obviously in the last few years, there's been this massive and then huge, inverse massive rise and fall, it seems like, of the metaverse. Like, I remember for 6-8 months, something like that, everyone was talking about the metaverse like it was next up, you know what I mean? Everyone was going to be on those Facebook headsets. We were all going to be playing VR chat to go to work. We were going to buy NFT clothing in cars and houses for our characters. It was just going to be like playing The Sims, it was going to be that great and everything, but obviously that's not been the case. Well, apparently, even though we expected the real world to transform into something like that through the headset, it appears that somehow one of the worst elements of humanity has somehow transferred itself across the electronic headsets, as a 16-year-old girl is now claiming that she was sexually assaulted by several men through a VR headset. And, her claim that she was assaulted by several men through a VR headset is being treated as if it's a fact, and as if she is apparently just as mentally and psychologically traumatized as any other actual assault victim would be. And it's now created this large discussion on whether or not places like Meta and these other companies that are trying to build up this metaverse concept are doing enough to protect their users, okay? British police are investigating the alleged gang R-word of a girl's avatar in a virtual reality game in what is believed to be the first probe of its kind involving the metaverse. The alleged victim, identified only as a girl under 16, was wearing a virtual reality headset in an immersive game when her avatar, an animated representation of her, was R-worded by those of several men, the Daily Mail first reported. Although the accuser did not sustain any physical injuries, she may have suffered trauma similar to someone who had been R-worded in real life, police sources told the outlet. Quote, "There is an emotional and psychological impact on the victim that is longer term than any physical injuries," a senior officer familiar with the case told the outlet. Still, UK authorities fear it might be impossible to prosecute under existing laws which define, sexual assault as physical touching in a manner without consent. Alright, so where do I even start, okay? I don't want this video to seem like, I'm wanting to downplay the issue of assault and whatnot. These kinds of things are obviously barbaric, and I shouldn't even really have to go into this discussion. It's just common sense that these are horrible real-world happenings, and everyone should be more aware of it and trying to more acutely stop it. But while also acknowledging that, can we also acknowledge the fact that this is completely and utterly fucking ridiculous? I mean, come on now. Let's go ahead and snap back into reality, okay? And I'm not trying to make a fucking joke here, okay? Literally, snap back into reality. I mean, come on now. They are treating this as if it's a legitimate sexual assault, right? So let me go ahead and clarify to you what happened here. This 16-year-old girl, okay, she got on her Quest or whatever the fuck these headsets are even called anymore, her Oculus, her Nintendo Game Boy, I don't know what they're called, I sound like a boomer, right? But she got on the headset, she got on Facebook's Metaverse or WeChat, what is it called? Fucking VR chat, there you go. They got all these different, VR games where they're so blatantly cartoony and digital that there is no immersion here, right? Like, you'd have to just be completely fucking brain dead, I feel like, to not be able to distinguish this from reality. I mean, come on now, seriously. And what happened was people walked their character up to hers in like a fucking video game and like, I guess, crouched and whatnot. And apparently that is now being literally equated to someone being forcefully sexually assaulted by a real, legitimate person in real life. People who are forcefully, assaulted against their will, forced to do things they don't want to do, drugged, anything, trafficked, right? Their experience apparently is the same as this 16-year-old girl who got teabagged in VR chat, okay? And the police are honestly telling you that, okay, there is an emotional and psychological impact on the victim that is longer term than any physical injuries. Do I need to explain how fucking stupid of a quote that actually is? Keep in mind, these are people who are supposed to be legitimately serving and protecting society, and they are 100% seriously suggesting that someone being quote-unquote sexually assaulted over a VR headset is the same thing, basically, as a legitimate real-world assault. There is no words to describe how disgusting of a statement that genuinely is. Especially when you consider the fact that probably in any police station really around the world, there's probably such a huge backlog of, reported sexual assault cases that have never been and never will be solved. People will never see the justice that they deserve. The perpetrators of these evil, heinous crimes will never get the punishments that they deserve. But meanwhile, when all of these people are, committing suicide because of their trauma, crying themselves to sleep every night, having lifelong destroyed mindsets, being more likely to use drugs, self-harm, all these other things, right? You also now have people claiming that they are suffering the same trauma because they were teabagged in a video game. And you, as a person in society, are being genuinely expected to believe that these should be treated as equals, as the same thing. This is fucking disgusting. I'm just gonna say it for what it is. This goes beyond just, shock headline for the sake of shock headlines. This is the kind of situation that downplays legitimate sexual assault. Because unfortunately, some of the not so intelligent members of society, they see situations like this in the news, right? And they think what 85, 90, maybe even more % of us are thinking right now. That this is fucking stupid. The worst possible thing that happened was some people were being idiots on a video game and they should be banned from the services. But yet they see news stories where we're legitimately equating shit like this to real world assault, and then, when real situations pop up where people are legit victims, they've been forcefully assaulted in real life, they become less likely to believe legitimate victims because they keep seeing fucking news stories like this that dumb down the whole concept. Now, there's a few really idiotic arguments and defenses that are being used to try and justify, equating these two things, okay? Number one, the girl was underage. She was a minor. Yeah, that's true, but also remember too, nobody online most likely knows her age in the first place, and nothing that could have happened in any of these online metaverses would have been realistic enough to constitute real, trauma like they're trying to say. I mean, for fuck's sake, right? According to Meta, okay, their VR has this thing called a personal boundary, which means other players as characters can't even get within a few feet of you, right? So it's not like these characters swarmed her viewpoint or something and locked her in a corner or something crazy, right? At the very worst, the most that I can really see happening is they walked within 3 feet of her, maybe they made some weird noises or something, they probably crouched up and down, you know what I mean? Really weird behavior, wouldn't be too upset if they were banned from the service, if they were violating the rules and whatnot, but to try and treat this like it's a legitimate sexual assault is just fucking pathetic, and it's disturbing. And not only that, but then you see also in the paragraph it says, UK authorities fear it might be impossible to prosecute them under existing laws. That's because existing laws are based in fucking reality, okay? Which is a realm of existence that none of this situation took place on, okay? This was essentially, at worst, some unfavorable audio and pixels on a screen doing something you didn't want to do. People keep saying, oh, well, she didn't consent to it. She didn't consent to it. Okay, yeah, she didn't consent to being harassed in a video game. I gotcha. You want to know what the major difference between a real-world forcible assault and being assaulted in the metaverse is? That poor girl who got too drunk at the bar and got roofied by that really weird guy, she doesn't get to take off her fucking VR headset when he's assaulting her in the back of the car. Yet this 16-year-old, who was apparently quote-unquote gang R-worded, keep that in mind, gang R-worded, she could have taken the fucking headset off at any time. She could have disconnected the router. She could have backed out to the main lobby. She could have closed the application. She could have played in an invite-only world or a solo world or whatever. Like, there's so many different solutions that could have stopped what was happening. So let's not sit here and try and act like this is some situation where, like, she couldn't escape. You know what I mean? It's like, turn the fucking computer off. You know what I mean? Turn your goddamn headset off. If you're being so psychologically destroyed by whatever entertainment platform you're consuming, then just turn the device off. Why in 2023, 2024 now, are we acting as if, like, being online is something that is unavoidable? Why is it being treated as if, like, you're the same digital person or whatever in a video game that you are in real life? These things are not the same thing, right? Cleverly also argued, someone willing to R-word the child's avatar in a video game, quote, may well be someone that could go on to do terrible things in the physical realm. Ian Critchley, the lead for Child Protection and Abuse Investigation at the National Police Chiefs Council, echoed Cleverly's words, telling the Mail that the Metaverse creates a gateway for predators to victimize children. Alright, honestly, the last part of that, he was kinda cooking, because that's probably true, right? Like, there probably are ways, unfortunately, for predators to use the metaverse to, you know, coerce underage children to meet them in real life, exchange information with them over social media or text, right? Like, I can see a lot of perspective issues with that, right? Of course, but this is not one of them, and I don't understand why we're treating them as if it's one of them, right? Because all we're doing is downplaying the severity of real problems, man. Like, come on. Someone who could go on to do terrible things in the physical realm. I don't know if I need to break this math down to the police. Maybe shit like this is why there's so many unsolved assault cases and whatnot, right? But let me go ahead and give you a little fucking news flash here, officers. The people who are committing sexual assault are not playing fucking VR chat. They're out doing it. Like, who is putting the brains in these people, man? Like, it can't be God, right? There's no way he would create people this fucking stupid. There's no way, right? Like, this is the same shit as people who say, oh, like, well, if someone who could kill a bunch of people in Grand Theft Auto, who knows what that guy could do in the real world, man? Like, haven't we already had this discussion before? That, like, video games are not the fucking real world. It doesn't impact your actual real world behavior unless you're, like, mentally crippled or just, like, so low IQ you were destined to be a failure anyway. Like, I just don't get it. Like, you're dealing with people who, in all reality, right, it's probably just some, like, unemployed fucking neckbeard trolls playing VR chat all day, right? That's probably who did this. And they're treating them as if they're, like, fucking Jeffrey Epstein or something, you know what I mean? Like, they're out here really riding like this is some serious shit, dude. Like, these were probably, like, 3 or 4 high schoolers who were fucking hitting their cart night cart and fucking drinking their dad's White Claws out of the garage cooler, you know? And you're sitting here fucking talking about them like they're some sort of, like, actual IRL predators. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me, man. We're actually treating VR chat as if it's the real world. I mean, how long until somebody shoots somebody in Call of Duty and we're now claiming that they committed a war crime? You know what I mean? How long is it until somebody is playing Roller Coaster Tycoon and they let the fucking roller coaster fly off the tracks and kill 70 people, and then we're claiming that there's some sort of, like, heartbroken capitalist murderer, you know what I mean? What the fuck are these standards that we're holding inanimate objects to? And I don't understand why we're doing it, but it's just, this is the ignorance that's causing so much shit in the world. There's so many real legitimate cases of stuff like this happening, and nobody is even looking that way, right? These police, they're letting the files fucking pile up in the locker, right? But hey, bro, this kid says, hey, they teabagged me in VR chat, you know, I want to file a fucking case. And you got every police officer in Willoughbyshire or wherever here in England, you know, that this is all happening. Like, come on, man. It's so goddamn pathetic. Anyway, I just wanted to go ahead and talk about this, right? Because I saw this and I just am like, no fucking way we're here, right? Anyway, man, thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're brand new around here on the channel, follow me over on Twitter and Twitch at @SubToOptimus. Make sure to check out Shoptimus down below. Thank you to my Watch Optimus subscribers. Your support helps the channel tremendously. And until my next video, guys, this is Optimus. Well, sorry, I'm just not buying this one, okay? And signing out. And that's a wrap on this video, but a big shout out to my Optimus Nation supporters. You guys are the real MVP VIPs here. Your support with just $10 a month unlocks a treasure trove of exclusive videos constantly updated, archived live stream VODs, and early access to all new uploads. Thanks for watching and see you soon.